Hey guys, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Today's Chopper History, we're going to have a wicked cool chick, Jolene from Nitrous Circus, as well as she does a ton of other cool stuff. But before we get to that, I just want to shout out to Indian Motorcycles, Law Tigers, and Badlands /NAM/ Electric Lighting for sponsoring Chopper History and keeping motorcycling alive and keeping us able to do this for you guys every Thursday at noon. Please share our page. Tell your friends to click. The more people we can get to listen and watch and tune in and comment and like and share, the more we can keep doing this. So please tell all your friends they should tune in. If you know or like anything about motorcycles, tune in, because we try to have a variety of guests, whether it's custom painters, daredevils, builders, everyone else in the industry.
Interesting people within the motorcycle industry, and guys that I've known for years that we have history with.
As well as people we don't have history with.
Right. A lot of people we don't have history with.
Yeah, I mean, Jolene, her and I only have recent history. So we try to bring you guys a variety of things, people that all have something to do with motorcycling, sports, motors, that kind of stuff. So, like I said, make sure you comment, like, share, all that on our stories on Chopper History, so that we can keep bringing you this and keep doing this. I'll get to a couple of your comments with it being Christmas 2 days away. Stephen Drago, hey. Bruno from Laconia. Do you guys have any snow up there in Laconia? I saw a mall has a bunch of snow.
Yeah, I know. He told me he's supposed to get more today.
Ooh. So that's up in northern Maine is what we're talking about. Mall, DP's BFF.
Yeah.
He likes snow, though, so he can keep it.
Yeah. Wenton. Hey, Wenton.
Jeremy, good morning. Dennis Frame, happy Christmas to you as well. Craig Ferry from sunny Florida, which it's sunny here today. It's a little chilly, but I'm not going to complain because it's sunny. Tim Raines, Merry Christmas to you and Ellie. Bruno says, yes, snow, getting ready to snowmobile. So that's only about 2.5 hours north of us, in New Hampshire. And also, I know it's obviously kind of late, but don't forget, if any of you guys want Perowitz apparel, you can go to hotleathers.com and get the latest t-shirts, as well as they have sweatshirts. They have some girl stuff, so hotleathers.com. And also our Instagram, Perowitz_psychofab. Go give it a follow. We try to post on there as much as I can. But that's where you'll see a lot of stuff, as well as you can follow us also on Instagram. So
on my page.
Yeah. So D Perowitz. So give us all a follow if you aren't already. And I think that's it. So I hope you guys watched the video that I posted yesterday of Jolene, because it was actually really good, like, to show what she is about. So let's bring on Jolene. Hey, Jolene.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here. I'm sure I'll see you sometime along the way here.
I hope so.
So are you East Coast right now?
Yeah, I came home to Canada and to be home for the holidays with my parents. So I'm in London, Ontario, Canada.
Okay, and tell us where home is, because I know home is fairly new to you.
Yeah, so I relocated recently up to Big Bear, California, and so I bought with my brother and my sister-in-law and two other partners. We bought this really cool lodge place up in Big Bear, California. And so we're on the north shore of the lake up there, and it's in a little town called Fawnskin. It's a 5-cabin sort of lodge experience, and it's a really neat little place. It's super special and kind of magical, and it has all the, anything from snowboarding to hiking and biking and all the different things that sort of are up there in that area. You can get to from our place. So it's just everything for an adventure seeker. And then, with the motorcycles and razors, it's a perfect little spot.
That's cool. So you can get all sports. In the wintertime, you can do snowmobile and snowboard and that kind of stuff. In the summertime, obviously hiking, dirt bike, razors.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Sort of it, being up in California and then up in the mountains there, it has the different seasons. So it's open all year round and just kind of lends to all those different activities.
You have snow up there now?
There's snow there now, yeah. So everybody's up there snowboarding and skiing and getting in their winter activities for the holiday.
Yeah, that's quite an area. I had a friend of mine that lived right up there. I can't think of the name of the town.
Yeah, that we went to his shop.
Yeah.
That time? Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Okay.
It's right next to Big Bear up there on the top of the mountain.
It was way up.
Yeah.
I remember,
it was like a long, curvy road.
Which I'm sure that's all the roads.
Up the mountain, yeah.
Yeah, Big Bear's all the way up at the top there. So it's
Yeah.
a good little, it's about 45 minutes of windy road, which is a really nice motorcycle ride as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I bet in the summertime.
Yeah, just don't look down.
Yeah.
Well, Jolene probably doesn't have a problem with that.
No, not so much.
So I was telling my dad that you are the first female to do a backflip on a full-size dirt bike.
Yep.
So how did that come about?
So
And when?
I started riding motorcycles when I was a kid, taught by my father.
Well, you're still a kid.
Yeah. Well, I act like a kid. But
We all do.
my dad taught my brother and I to race motocross when we were younger, and that was what we did growing up. Big motocross family. We're in a really big area in Ontario that is sort of a mecca for racing and motocross tracks. So that's where it all sort of started. And then we started traveling down into the US and competing more at some of the different events that were down there. And I met Travis when we were teenagers through one of the, through the AMA, through the racing program and down in Loretta Lynn's. And I just happened to, be at his place at one time when he was really interested in trying to find a female to teach, to do the backflip on a motorcycle. At the time, it was still very, very new. Even the guys, there was only a handful of men at that point that had backflipped and been successful with it and were continuing to do it. And Travis, being Travis, always wanted to, include everybody and try to get,
push the envelope.
Push the envelope and see how far he can take something, or, getting all types of people involved. He was just like, I want to try to find a female to do this. And I was traveling around at the time racing the women's pro circuit. And me and my girlfriends were hanging out at Trav's, and he just kind of said, like, hey, do you think you'd want to give it a try? See if, whoever wants to try can try. That's sort of Travis's deal, right? Like, he has these amazing platforms and he's always willing to let anybody give it a go. So I just was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, or, but might as well try. I'm here, have some fun. You're at Trav's house. You want to jump to the foam pit. You want to have all that type of experience and just sort of enjoy the property for what it was. And so I tried it on the mini bike first and was able to do that. And I just sort of said to Trav, I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure I can do this on a big bike. Like, if given the opportunity, and you
How big of a bike?
Yeah, like if you want to take the time to teach me, I'm willing to learn, sort of thing. So he was like, yeah, no problem. So we set aside some time that Travis doesn't have a lot of extra time. So he was just like, I have like one day.
What year was this?
He's like, if you can come back, I will go through the process of teaching you. And then, it's sort of up to you from there. And I went back to his place, and my dad, and my brother all drove down. And my brother sort of helped me.
Where is his place?
So Travis lives in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's about a 10-hour drive from our place up in Canada, where where I was living at the time, up near my parents. And me, my brother, and my dad packed up the dirt bikes, and we headed down to Trav's. And I was really nervous, and it was just something, I'd never done before. Obviously, I'd never even hit a ramp. So backflipping was the first thing I ever did on a freestyle ramp, which is also pretty neat.
Yeah, it is.
My brother, growing up racing motocross as well, at that point had gotten into freestyle. And so I, said to my brother, well, will you learn with me? And he wanted to learn as well. So it was kind of cool that I went through the process of learning to flip with my brother and having somebody to sort of share that experience with and talk to about it and different things like that. And yeah, I spent one day in the foam pit on the big bike, and then the next day I went to dirt, and I crashed a couple times. I did not land it the first time. My brother landed it the first time, but I didn't. I crashed a few times. So if you watch the Nitrous Circus DVD, because when Nitrous Circus started, we didn't have a television show or a movie or anything like that. We were just based on DVDs. So once a year, we would compile like all these different stunts throughout the year and then make one DVD. So my debut was in Nitrous Circus 3. The Nitrous Circus 3 DVD was.
What year was that?
2005.
Oh, wow.
So that was a long time ago. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was back a little bit ago at this point.
Yeah, that's what size bike were you on?
That was a 125. So that was an RM 125.
How long did you tour with Nitrous Circus?
I was with them for 12 years, from when I started to when I decided to sort of pack that chapter up and move into the next chapter, which is what I do now in Hollywood and doing stunts for actresses.
Oh, no kidding.
So just
Wow,
to
cool.
fill you in, you probably don't know really Nitrous Circus. So Travis Pastrana, and the whole Nitrous Circus, they're like daredevils, and they do shows where they do flips and jumps, and it's, I'm sure you've seen it, but it's all craziness. It's pure craziness. You guys are all nuts.
Yeah, I was at the SEMA show. You probably were with me. Yeah, we were at the SEMA show. Right. I don't know, 8 years ago.
I actually raced with Travis.
We were at a kicker party. Kicker Audio was putting on a big party, and Travis jumped off the balcony of
the Palms.
Palms.
Yeah. He base jumps.
Yeah, with a parachute, and it was like, wow, that was probably the first time I had seen him do anything, and it was amazing.
Yeah, jumped like nothing, And then they actually had pit bike races, and one of the guys gave me a pit bike, and I was like lined up right next to Travis, and I was so like awestruck. I think I was the last one to take off.
Oh, that's funny.
But it was fun. It was fun, and he's just such a regular guy. Like you wouldn't.
Yeah, no, that's like that's one of the best things about Trav is what you see is what you get. People are always like, oh, is he really that nice? Is he really that friendly? And he really is. He's one of the most genuine, chill, cool, dorky, fun, humans.
So I posted yesterday for all you guys listening. Hopefully you watched it. A video that I found on YouTube that was kind of cool. It's like all moments with you and stuff. And I saw you jump the Grand Canyon. So tell us about that and like what you did, like that whole experience.
Yeah, so obviously that comes courtesy of Travis as well. He had been doing a documentary about his life, and for the end of his documentary, he wanted to ride off into the sunset with a blonde chick on the back of the bike, sort of thing, you know. But in Travis's terms of like riding off into the sunset, he wanted to ride off of the Grand Canyon and then base jump off of the motorcycle. So at the time, I'd never base jumped or skydived or done anything like that before. So he came to me and was like, "Hey, Jolene, I have this like really cool idea. Do you think you want?" And like before he even finished his sentence, I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And he's like, "You don't even know what I'm about to ask you." I was like, "Yeah, I know, but I bet it's something pretty cool. It's probably pretty fun." He's like, "Well, it's jumping motorcycles into the Grand Canyon and base jumping." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay. Well, I'll still do it." So I had to go learn how to skydive first, before the whole process. So I went away, me and actually Jim DeChamp, who is somebody else, one of the other Nitrous Circus members that jumped into the Grand Canyon with us that day as well. So there was the four of us that actually jumped in. There was Travis, Jim, Eric, and myself. But Travis and I were the only ones that did the 2-up jump.
So they did it on motorcycles too, on bikes?
Yeah, the other jumps were on motorcycles as well.
What happened to the bike? They just
let
it go?
Yeah, you just let them go. They drop down into the bottom of the canyon. They smash into rubble. And basically the rule is, like whatever you bring in, you got to take out. So we had a helicopter come, and then you just sort of lay like a big net down and you throw all the pieces of the bikes back into the net.
Yeah.
And then the helicopter lifts the net.
Wow, that's crazy.
Could you, when you would, after you let go of the bike, when the bike hit could you see the bike hit the ground?
No, at that point, I mean, you let go of the bike and it drops quite quickly. And then, your main concern at that point then is getting your parachute opened up. Yeah. And then moving in the right direction, which is, not towards the cliff walls.
Yeah. It wasn't like a little hairy, like navigating to stay in the middle and not get any of the cliff walls.
Yeah. I mean, our jump on the motorcycle didn't really go as we planned. Not everything always goes as you planned, but luckily it went enough that we're both still here. But yeah, there was a moment where I got pretty close to the cliff walls at one point. Just by the time you get away from the motorcycle, you get stable, you pull, and then it opens. You're not always going to be exactly where you want to be. So yeah, it got a little crazy for a second, but I got.
And this is something that you can practice. This was just kind of a pass or fail sort of thing. I mean, I've never done it before, and I probably will never do it again. But I was successful at doing it that time. So
now, when you guys all landed, how close did you come to each other?
We were far apart from each other. Yeah, like by the time we both had like our canopy rides down to the bottom, we were quite a distance away, so we had to like run to find each other at the base of it.
And then what did somebody come and like pick you up? Like how did you get?
Yeah, same thing with the helicopter. We have the helicopter that we all would walk over to where the helicopter would come and grab us.
Oh,
I mean, you were close enough so you could see each other though?
No, I actually, when Travis and I landed from the one that we were on 2-up, I actually had no idea where he was. I had to walk quite a ways before I found him again.
Did you know like the direction?
Yeah,
or did you like lose your bearings?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I knew that he was sort of, off down the because it's all like a little bit of like a dry lake bed area, right? Yeah. So it's all rocky and stone. And so I knew which direction he was. So I just kind of picked up my parachute and sort of started running that direction because you want to see each other, right? You want to, I'm alive. Are you alive? I'm alive. And like celebrate at that point. But
yeah, it must have been so gratifying seeing each other and then being able to have that celebratory moment.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, it's one of those experiences you don't really know how to explain it, right? Yeah, jumping a motorcycle into the Grand Canyon and then base jumping off it is not on a lot of people's lists of things they've done in their life. So yeah, it's a very unique experience, and the high is just it's very unexplainable.
Yeah, and I would imagine like the people even standing at the edge watching you, wherever they're watching you from, still can't get that moment that you and Travis experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, and it was done quite a while ago. Like, I feel like now things are documented so much better.
Yeah, the technology, even with like drones, like
I know. I'm like, there's so like, I really wish there was so much more footage for what we did, because for that experience and everything that happened that day.
Yeah.
And the fact that like I jumped multiple times, Travis jumped multiple times. There's really only like a couple clips that actually live in existence, which is like such a bummer, because it was such a, to be able to have actually maybe caught the moments where we did land and then we did meet up the first time. Like, we don't have any of that footage, which is so crazy to think about, doing such a gnarly stunt like that, but only having like just these tiny clips that explain it to people. So
yeah, and plus like I feel like now, whether it's technology, it's medical, like even the parachutes, it's probably so much better now than it was. When did you guys do that?
When was that? That was in 2007, I think.
So 14 years ago?
I think so, yeah.
You gotta figure it's come a long way, that like you guys legit were daredevils. Like, I mean, not that you're not, but just technology and, you know, things are that I'm sure there's ways to practice, you know, to a point that it's almost like, man, too bad that technology, just that alone, wasn't there to exactly do that, capture that.
If you
I mean, it would have been amazing to have had a drone follow us. That would have been a sick shot. But the only thing we had was a couple of still set cameras, like one up top, I think one below, and then somebody with like a big camera in the helicopter. And those were the shots that we got, you know. And the helicopter, I mean, they're not nothing like remotely close to what a drone can do these days.
Yeah, I bet.
Helicopter, you kind of miss the shot on a helicopter. You miss the shot.
Do it again.
Like a drone can like flip around really quick and like follow things around, and
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're, you know, grateful for the footage we do have of it, but it definitely does not explain the whole story, you know.
But no matter what, you can say you did it and before anybody else, and it's especially like hearing it right now firsthand, like this, it's something cool that you'll never, you know, it'll never be erased, regardless of whether the footage is there or not.
Right. Yeah, I know. It was like obviously on the top of gnarliest thing I've ever done, you know, like most insane stunt I've ever accomplished is definitely jumping into the Grand Canyon.
That's what I was going to ask you. What is your most, you know?
Yeah, you know, like I'm so proud of the backflip and accomplishing that and being the first female and holding that record for the, you know, my existence.
Yeah,
that's just like one of those things that's like super, super cool. But the Grand Canyon is just one of those sort of really out there gnarly things, you know, like, yeah, like sometimes I'm like, holy shit, I actually did that. Okay, cool. You know, like as you get older, you kind of go like,
yeah, I did that. Like,
you think of things a little differently.
Yeah, I bet. Where was your most favorite place that you visited? Because I know Nitrous Circus went all around the world, correct?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. So we spent a lot of time in Australia over the years. That's where our first tour was. So, and then after that, we did a tour in Australia pretty much every year that the tour was going on. So Australia is one of my favorite places. I spent a lot of time there. I sort of lived there at one point just because we were touring there so much. I just didn't leave at one point. But then the two other places that we had like really, really exceptional tours, just the whole experience was really neat. Getting to do all the sightseeing that was involved with it, the people, the crowds that we had. So when we went to South Africa, that was one of the most amazing experiences. And then Japan. So we had those were our biggest shows. The shows that we had in South Africa and the shows that we had in Japan, we were just massed. Like it was like I think 36,000 people in Johannesburg.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And yeah, and it was crazy because it was actually when you're in an inside stadium and the whole crowd roars, you can kind of feel it, right? There's like a vibe. Generally, when you get to like more of the outdoor stadium, you lose that because the sound sort of goes out through the opening of the stadium. But when we were in Johannesburg, there was like a sort of like it was an open stadium, like somewhat closed, but still open at the top. And they were so loud that you could feel the vibrations through your body during the opening, like the opening of the show where they start introducing all of us and we come out on stage and they say our names. When I got to the top of the ramp and they were like, and Van Vugt, there was like the loudest noise that I have felt reverberate through my body that humans have ever made. In like it was just so impressive and so cool to feel that, right? Like to feel that energy.
Yeah.
So that there just like tells you what that vibe was and how awesome.
That must have been so
It can be.
like that must have been so satisfying, like to know that the crowd is going nuts for you.
Yeah, it's
hard work what you do.
It's a really unique energy to have, people be cheering for sort of your existence or your talents, or to be able to get to watch you perform and do what you love. It's a very special thing for sure.
Yeah. Hey, so tell us about what's going on now. What you're doing in Hollywood.
Well, now when I sort of felt my time with Nitrous Circus had come to an end, in that chapter, I was ready to walk away and close that chapter. It had been a wild ride with them, and obviously through a few of the stories I've told here, I had some close calls. Let's put it that way. And it's just time to know when it's good to walk away and be good with
in one piece.
Yeah, I was still in one piece, and so I'd been wanting to be a stunt woman, a Hollywood stunt woman, since I was a kid. I mean, since I was a teenager, riding bikes and doing different things. I'd watch movies and I would always just be like, oh man, it'd be so cool to like work in Hollywood and do stunts and, ride motorcycles and get blown up and do all these like rad things. But growing up in London, Ontario is, a smaller town or whatever. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know stunt people. I didn't even know any actors. I didn't really know how you get into the industry or anything like that. So it was really cool for me to kind of go off and go down my own path with motocross and motorcycles, and then get into Nitrous Circus, which then became my own sort of stunt spectacular world, right? Yeah. I was getting to do all these things I always wanted to do as a kid, but sort of in an action sports way, through something that I was really good at, and then traveling the world with my friends. So I was really happy just being in that realm. But when I was sort of in the middle of my career with Nitrous Circus and we were touring, I got a phone call, and it was one of those moments in life that I was just kind of like, did that really just happen? But it basically was, would you be interested in doubling Anne Hathaway as Catwoman in the new Christopher Nolan film, The Dark Knight Rises, which is the Batman movie.
So cool.
And what getting this type of a note, I really was like, that's not a real sentence. This doesn't happen. Like, this must be a joke. So my response was obviously, if this is not a joke, my answer is absolutely yes. I mean, are you kidding me? Who doesn't want to be Catwoman?
Like the legit Catwoman, not the actor.
So I was able to get my foot in the door with that opportunity, and the fact that Hollywood sort of came knocking on my door through everything that I had done with Nitrous Circus and through building my resume and being the daredevil that I was in the action sports world, to me was just even more, of an honor and sort of mind-boggling and very humbling of the fact that I was like, oh my God, like I always wanted to be a part of this world and they just came knocking on my door. This is like absolutely amazing. And so when I spoke to the coordinator, he just basically said like, hey, we need a girl to ride the Bat Pod. Do you think you can do it? And I was like, you give me an opportunity to ride that motorcycle, I will ride the shit out of that motorcycle. Basically what my answer was.
Yeah.
So he said, you have an audition. So they flew me over to the UK, and I had a couple days, and he just basically said at the end of a couple days, if you're able to ride the bike, you get the job. And so by the end of the day, I was ripping around the track with the Batman double because there was multiple of the Bat Pods. So we were ripping around on the Bat Pods together, and I got the job, which was a dream come true. And I got to double Anne Hathaway in Dark Knight Rises on the Bat Pod, and that was my foot in the door for Hollywood and for getting into the union and being a part of that whole new stunt world that I always dreamed about as a kid. And so when I was done with Nitrous Circus and had felt that I had sort of closed that chapter, I knew that is exactly where I was going to go with everything. Where I wanted to be was to go full time into working in Hollywood. And so that's what I've been doing ever since leaving Nitrous Circus 5 years ago now.
So tell us about the Bat Pod. What was it exactly?
Yeah.
So
that was just a creation, right? It was a motorcycle built from scratch that came from a concept of what they wanted this motorcycle to look like, that came out of the inside of the tumblers, which were the Bat cars, the Batmobile vehicles.
Yeah.
So that's basically why it looked the way that it did, with the car tires and the setup that it had. It was a fully functioning motorcycle. I know a lot of people always are like, oh, I didn't even think that was real. I was like, no, there was actually 6 of them made through the
Oh wow. Okay.
I think we're looking at right pictures. Now. Dark Knight Bat Pod. All right.
Yeah. So in the first Christopher Nolan, I think in Batman Begins, it wasn't in that one. So it was in Dark Knight is when it was first shown, and that's when Batman wrote it. And then in Dark Knight Rises, Batman and Catwoman.
So is this it?
That is it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So what was it like riding it?
Yeah.
It's a Honda 450 engine.
Yeah.
And it's got car tires on it, obviously.
Yes, it must have been hard to turn.
Yeah, so it was in more of like a laying down position. You're not sitting up like you do on a regular motorcycle, but basically where those arm cuffs are, with those sort of round things, that's where your elbows lie, and then your hands hold on to the 2 grips. And you basically are steering with your shoulders and your elbows. So you want to push and move your body in the direction that you want the bike to go in. So it doesn't turn very fast. Let's put it that way. You can't spin it around in a circle very quickly, but it was a really, really awesome, fast, cool motorcycle. So
How fast did you have to go?
So as you can see, like your chest is laying down right on that, and then your arms come over into those little holsters.
How fast did you have to go, you think?
Well, for filming, we're never allowed to go very fast. Generally when you're filming, you're going anywhere from 25, 35, maybe 45, miles an hour, depending on what the scene of the situation is. But at different times when I was able to just sort of get let loose and race them around, I got it going up pretty quick a few times. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, it doesn't have a speedometer on it, so I have no idea how fast I was going, but I was going pretty quick.
So I have Alicia. She says that you were in The Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix just came out yesterday.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, the new Matrix movie. We filmed that in San Francisco almost 2 years ago now. And I got to double Carrie Ann on the motorcycle as well. That's a pretty cool story there too, because for there being the one motorcycle scene, there was there being the one actress riding the motorcycle, there was two of us that did the motorcycle scene together, myself and another stunt woman, Crystal Hooks. She's a very talented motorcycle rider, and so they hired both of us to share the scene together, which was really cool.
Why did they need two?
There was multiple reasons based on skill sets, and I think also if I had to give an opinion on it, is just having a big production like that, you definitely can't have anything come in the way of filming. Yeah. And if something were to have went wrong, one of us got hurt, there was another one that could
back up.
Complete, yeah. So I think at the end of the day, that might have been the reason for having both of us sharing the role, was just to definitely make sure that no matter what happened, the chase scene would get filmed.
Yeah, is that it? Were you riding a Ducati?
No, that is I think that's from the original Matrix, back in like 1999 or whatever.
Is it the Matrix 4 or is it more than that?
It's the fourth one that I just that I was part of the stunt.
I was just trying to Google a picture. What kind of bike was it?
One on the Ducati there. That the stunt woman that rode back then was Debbie Evans, and Debbie is one of the most awesome, gnarly, talented motorcycle stunt women in the world. So
that's cool. That's really cool. But what are some other movie Hollywood accomplishments?
Recently, where was the other movie I recently worked on was Chaos Walking, which I'm forgetting people's names right now, but Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley, I think, is her name.
Is it out yet?
Yeah, I think you can watch that one on Netflix. There's a motorcycle chase scene in that, and so I got to do that, which was pretty cool.
What's it called again?
Chaos Walking.
Chaos Walking. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Yeah,
we both have been like trying to find movies and TV shows to watch because there's on Netflix or anything.
Yeah.
I feel like it's all boring stuff.
Yeah, there's another one where I did a pretty significant motorcycle chase scene is called Into the Shadow of the Moon, which you can also watch on Netflix as well.
Into the Shadow of the Moon.
Yeah.
They could that could be you and Travis's title, except Into the Shadow of the Sun off the Grand Canyon. On the video that I posted that I saw, you were, one of the scenes was you guys were like, I don't want to say dog sledding, but sledding with reindeer.
Reindeer, yeah.
How was that? With it being Christmas and all,
I know, no. That was one of like for me, that was one of the funnest things that we did when we were on that. We were on like a European tour, and we were in Sweden at the time. And so they were having us do all types of things. We were doing dog sledding. We were playing with reindeer. We were doing polar diving pools. We were sleeping at the ice hotel, and like
That must be so cool. All that experience.
So that's like, that was one of the, I thought was one of the coolest things about getting to tour, and with my, not only touring with my friends and doing what I love as a living, you know, performing and riding my motorcycle, but we would go to all these amazing places. And because we were usually filming a television show in conjunction with it, they submersed us in like all the different cultures, anything in that area that they were really well known for. We would get to participate in or do, or, you know, have fun with. And so the whole experience of Nitrous Circus was just so unique and special. You know, it's just something that's never existed otherwise.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like, I like to, when I go to places, not necessarily stay at the most tourist place, not do tourist things, because I like to experience the culture of it. My brother got married in Jamaica, and he stayed at like this big giant fancy resort,
all-inclusive hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you could be anywhere in the world doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and like I was just like, first of all, this resort is ridiculously priced. Like, and I want to go out. I want to experience the island. Well, I got a completely different experience
Yeah.
than they did, and like they had gone a couple of times, and they were like, "Oh, this island is beautiful. It's so safe. Like we love it." And I got the experience of the real locals and like the real culture, like eating in shacks, like going up a mountain where like it's real sketchy, like not necessarily like you can go off the edge of the mountain. I mean, people-wise, like completely like dogs everywhere that are scrawny and covered in mange. Like, they didn't know anything about it.
They're like, what are you talking about? That doesn't exist. You're like, yeah, just look outside the gates. You know?
Like, I like to do that because I like to feel the real culture of something versus what they want you to think. You know, what their, you know, perfect beaches are, and then the perfect buildings and everything. That's not how the real world is. So it's cool that you guys got to really soak up the culture. And
no, a lot of the times they would take us to different areas to experience what that place was actually about, not the resort side of things, which I appreciated. You know, I really cherish all of those experiences and those memories for sure.
Here's back to the reindeer.
I loved the reindeer. Were so fun.
That's right. So they're obviously friendly?
Yeah, these ones were, you know, they were taken care of, and they lived in a pen, so they were used to being fed, and they were used to being around people and different things like that. So they were friendly.
Did they lose their antlers and stuff like deer, I would imagine?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would say they probably did.
They look little. They aren't like big. Like you.
Yeah, they're not like the size of moose. They're not. They're pretty decent.
How was it?
Laptop is about to hold. I gotta plug you guys in.
Okay.
Laptop clearly did not want to go the length of the.
Let's go over here to some of the comments. Thank you guys. Oh, hey Flea. Flea's watching.
Yeah. Hey Flea.
Nancy says, "Woohoo! You're a rock star, Jolene." Hey Doug Francie. Jeff, rock on. You got a lot of fans on here. Ray Thatcher's watching. She's amazing. So the reindeer, when they were pulling, they were pulling you guys, like, are they struggling or they pull no problem?
No, they're strong. They were pulling us just fine.
That must have been so cool. What a neat experience.
Yeah, it was fun. We did reindeer races around the around the pen.
What was it? 2 reindeer that pulled you guys?
I think so. I can't even remember now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's probably so many different experiences.
Yeah, I mean, half the time, and I'm very grateful for this, but I have to almost sometimes be reminded, like I have to see a picture or somebody say something.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm sure.
I forget like all the like awesome things that I've got to do. Oh, hello, Mom. My mom just came.
Hi, Mom.
I'm doing an interview. Oh, okay. Talk to you in a bit. So I have this obsession with ketchup chips.
Ketchup chips?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, like potato chips?
Yeah, potato chips. But you can't get ketchup chips in America.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Really?
I don't really.
Wow.
Ketchup
I never heard of ketchup chips.
Yeah. So that's
I'll see what you just brought.
so that's what your mom's getting you for Christmas? A box of ketchup chips?
So whenever I come home, she has a bag of these for me.
Ketchup chips. Okay.
I've never seen them before,
No, I
obviously,
know.
I guess.
Yeah. So this is a Canadian thing. And I obviously, I haven't been home in a year. So I haven't had ketchup chips in a year. So my mom made sure to get me made in Canada.
Oh yeah.
Was it easy going back home? Because you must have dual citizenship, correct?
Yeah. I have my Canadian passport and then a green card.
So it's not a big deal for you to go back and forth?
No.
That's good then. Did your brother come home too, or is he manning the resort?
He actually came home earlier at the beginning of December because he wanted to see Mom and Dad and give them a Merry Christmas hug. And then he went back, and him and Alyssa are taking care of the outpost. And then I was able to come home to have Christmas with Mom and Dad.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. So Alicia asked a question. She said, "Is she planning on hosting another dual sport ride in Big Bear?" And Jody, are you gonna come? Yes.
Yeah, so we already have. I think we actually have the dates. I just don't know them off the top of my head. But we already have planned with the Babes to do Babes Dual Sport Summer again. So that is happening. I believe it's in July. And yes, you should totally come this time.
Yeah. What other events are you having at your place or up at Big Bear? Because
we're not sure yet. We're in January and February we'll probably make a schedule and try to figure out a little bit more of what we want to do or plan to do.
Yeah.
But we are going to host some outpost ride days as well. So we're going, hopefully we'll get together with the Wolf Enduro guys and maybe do another event with them. We're definitely doing a Babes event. The Dual Sport Summer event is happening again. But then we also want to just sort of my brother and I take on the responsibility and host a couple of the outpost rides. So maybe a camp, maybe a couple day camp or something, or maybe just a couple day rides or something like that.
What do you ride for a motorcycle?
So this is new. I was actually with Suzuki for a really long time. I started riding Suzukis and Kawasaki's when I was younger, and then I got on Suzuki and I was on that Suzuki's for almost 20 years. But just this fall.
What you rode in Nitrous Circus?
Yeah, so that's what I rode all throughout Nitrous Circus was Suzuki. But this fall, I've just started a new partnership with Husqvarna.
Oh,
no
cool.
kidding.
Husky. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So are you loving them?
Yeah, I haven't got the bikes just yet. They got stuck on a ship before I left.
Seems like a common theme.
Yeah, so before I came home for Christmas, I was actually supposed to get the bikes, but they got stuck, just like everything else, unfortunately, because of the world we live in right now, and products not being able to get to where they need to be. I just have to wait till I get back now.
And now you're on the Polaris Women's Council with me, so you obviously are a fan of raises, and now that's not our world. So give us your input on raises.
Yeah, so I fell in love with razors. When was that? About 5 or 6 years ago. We had slowly started to use razors just at the sort of when we were doing different Nitrous Circus things. And then Polaris sent Travis a razor, and I'd never, I didn't really know much about them, had never really done anything with them. And I was just like, oh, I'm going to, go see what this is all about. So I jumped in the razor and I took it out back at his place. And it was just like, I instantaneously was just like, this thing's amazing. It's so fun. And to me, it was just like, I got to have like all the fun and everything I loved about racing motocross and dirt bikes. But now I was sitting in like a little car with a wheel and like a cage around me. So if I made a mistake, I was like,
protected.
Yeah, I was protected. So that's sort of how it happened for me. And then my friend Sarah Price and my other friend Jim Bieber, at the time, there was an event called Terracross, which was short course racing for razors. And they were like, Jolene, you will absolutely love it. It's like very motocross, the similarities and if you're gonna love it, you should try it. So I tried racing Terracross, and that's when, after that, I raced that whole Terracross series, and I just really, really loved getting to like jump them and like do all these like rad, cool things with them. So right after that, I actually went and bought my first razor, and that's how I sort of became a part of the razor community. And then through just sort of social media and being a part of the Terracross events, and then I started racing Best in the Desert, Polaris sort of took note of me, and we created a partnership, and I've been with them ever since. Yeah.
That's very cool. So Jolene and I recently were in Atlanta test riding slingshots, and I'll give my personal opinion. So I am glad that I rode one, because now I can say my opinion counts. I am not necessarily a fan of them because I feel like I'd rather be on a motorcycle, but from the aspect of like being able to take your kids or your wife, and like the car aspect where you don't have to put your feet down, like you don't have to have balance. That aspect I can see where somebody would want to ride them. Yeah. We went on a ride with a big group of people, and
we went rogue.
Torturous. It was torturous. We went maybe like 75 miles. How far we went? Like,
I know.
And
I love that you and I were just like, we can't do this. We have to be driving these things faster.
Yeah, it was like they had us there to test these things, to get a real feel for them. We are not your average people. We are extreme people. We do not want to go 60 miles an hour in the left lane behind 10 other ones of all of us turning at the same time. It's very repetitive.
We had a lot more fun when we just went and did our own thing.
Yeah, so say Jolene and I gave the head cheese person our opinion, and then after we were like, ooh, did we say too much? And we apparently didn't, because she maybe 15 minutes later called me and was like, hey, you guys can go on your own. We were like, yes.
They let us loose. They let us have fun.
Yeah, so the two of us really literally went rogue and was able to take back roads and not the highway back. We stopped at this cool little lake, and I think at that point I don't want to say I liked the slingshot, but it became a whole lot better.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed the day once we were able to go and utilize them in a way that you would want to. Right. I would want to utilize it, right? Like,
yeah.
have some more fun with it. Get going fast. Go on the windy roads and stuff like that. I definitely am so glad that we
Yeah,
that we gave our.
I thought that the horsepower of them is and torque is pretty good. They move.
Yeah.
You know.
No, they do for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they said you could have one, I don't know that I would personally take it because, like I said, I'd rather be on a motorcycle. It's just not my thing. But
yeah, I mean, on the list of Polaris items, I would rather have a razor or a bike or a sled or a snow bike, that type of thing. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm so glad that we did do it because now my opinion counts. Because it's like I'd say, I don't like those things. They're dumb, whatever. People are like, you've never ridden one. How do you know? You'll like it. Now I can say I rode one.
Well, now I can say it.
Yeah. So it was definitely a cool experience. I hope that we can do that again with other stuff and more stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like the next one will be razors.
Yeah, which would be very cool. And I mean, I've already done those. So yeah, that would be wicked cool. So hopefully somebody from Polaris is watching and we can put another bug in their ear to let's do it again.
No, I've been talking with them and it sounds like that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, good.
Oh,
good.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm on board obviously with that because that would be something that's fun. Because motorcycles, I mean, I do that every day and I've ridden a ton of Indian motorcycles, so it's not anything necessarily new, even though I know the other girls aren't, whether they're in snow or races or whatever, they might want to ride motorcycles, but
there's only a couple of us, there's only two of us that are razors, or three of us that are razors. Well, I think two of us that are officially razors, and then Kelly does a lot of razor stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of the other girls, I think, are very interested in doing the razors. So
yeah, I would think so too. Yeah. So hopefully that happens so we can get, our opinion more so on razors than we already have, or at least have.
I know exactly what your opinion of razors are going to be. It's the same as my opinion.
Definitely.
They're so fun.
Jolene, so we don't want to take up too much of your time. Tell people how they can find you and follow you on social media, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Instagram is sort of my main one, the one I love the most. I'm on Facebook and Twitter as well, and it's just my name, Jolene Van Vugt.
All right, so that's so you guys, any of you guys out there that want to follow her and see her adventures and all the cool stuff that you do and everything else, go on her Instagram and give her a follow. Is there anything else you want to shout out to?
I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody and to have a safe and happy holiday with your friends and your family and enjoy the ones you love.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, right?
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on today, Jolene. I hope that we got you some more fans and that our fans have now seen what a cool chick you are, and Daredevil before Daredevils were on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're real daredevils.
Yeah.
Thank
sure.
you so much for having me, and you both have a very Merry Christmas as well.
Yeah, and you too, and hopefully we'll meet soon.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Jolene, for coming on, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right, guys, so that was our show today, and that was Jolene. So if any of you guys want to follow her, go on Instagram and give her a follow, as well as Facebook, whatever is your platform. And next week, we will be back with Competition Distributing. The new owners, my BFF, Tom Banks, as well as Sean. The three of us are the Antique Outlaws. So it should be a good show.
And George, don't forget George.
George too.
Yeah.
George too. Sorry, George.
Yeah.
So next week we will have them on and telling us about their new business, which is Competition Distributing. I have spent a ton of money at that place. They make old pots, anything pre-1936. So as you can imagine, it's quite the business because they're pretty much the only game in town. for a lot of things, old bikes. I think that's it. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you guys all have a good Christmas. I think that's it. You got anything else to add
No,
to it?
hey, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah.
Don't forget our apparel is at Hot Leathers,
Yeah,
and it
Hot
might not be too
Leathers.
late to make a call and
Yeah, I mean, they
get
are
something
only in
shipped out.
Connecticut.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
only in Connecticut, right?
I know. I shipped something today to Mad Stork.
Mr. Mad Stork.
Yeah, and
Ken, great guy.
yeah, I sent him something today and actually said that it'll be there tomorrow.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so hopefully he gets his
beautiful.
Christmas present
Yeah.
before Christmas. But all right, shout out to Indian Motorcycles, Law Tigers, and Badlands. If you have not ridden an Indian motorcycle, go test ride one. It can't hurt, and I can almost guarantee you'll love it. So go test ride an Indian motorcycle. If you're in the market for a motorcycle attorney, a motorcycle lawyer, call Law Tigers. They'll point you in the right direction. Unfortunately, if you need a motorcycle attorney, but fortunately or hopefully you will not. But if you do, give Law Tigers a call. And if you are in the need for aftermarket lighting, call Electric Lighting or look them up on the World Wide Web. Electric Lighting, they make awesome LED lights, whether it's a tail light, headlight, directionals. They make some good stuff, like legit good stuff. And that's it. So we will be back next week. Please make sure you share, like, and comment on our post for Chopper History so that we can keep this going. And if you have any suggestions for who you want us to interview, who you want to hear from, let us know. Okay, I guess we'll see you next week for another episode of Chopper History.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.